It's the time of year when gardeners start their seeds, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do that. I'm Militia, and thanks for joining me on Thriving Plants. Something you need to know before you go to start your seeds is when your average last frost date is, and you can find that on the Old Farmer's Almanac website, which I will link below in my description. You're going to need a few things before you can start your seeds. One of those is a seed starting mix, and I have a video on my channel if you'd like to check that out. You don't need seed starting mix for large seeds. I put them in potting mix because I have no problem coming up through those. I use my seed starting mix for seeds that need light to germinate, like tomatoes, peppers, and lettuce. You're going to need something to plant in. I use this cell pack that I've had for ages. You don't need to invest in these. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I kind of use various different things over the years. You can use cups. These plastic cups, poke some holes in the bottom. They do need drainage, so you have to put holes in them if they don't have it. I invested in these disposable ones a long time ago, and I just kept reusing them. You just sterilize everything beforehand, and you're not going to have any problems. You can use a bottle and just cut off the bottom, put some holes in it. These takeout containers work really well. You just put holes in the bottom, put some holes in the top, and then it already has a dome. And once your seedlings start to sprout, you're going to remove the dome. You need a dome on everything with holes in it to conserve the moisture so that your seeds aren't drying out. And as I said, as soon as they begin to sprout, you'll take off your dome because you don't want to leave it on there, because you can end up with mold growing on top, or you can have what's called damping off, which is caused by a fungus, and that causes your seedlings to wilt. When it comes to plants that are difficult to transplant, such as watermelons, you're going to want to put those in peat pots or cocoa coir pots, because when you go to transplant those, you want them to be able to transplant easily and be able to work their roots out. Cocoa pots seem to be the best pots that I have found so far because it's much easier for the roots to get out of those. Peat pots are more condensed, and it takes longer for those to break down. You're also going to want a spray bottle to spray the top once you put your small seeds in the seed starting mix. You're going to pre-moisten the seed starting mix before you use it. Otherwise, when you put your seed on top and you water, you're going to bury them, and then they're not going to germinate properly. You want to use labels. I have been gardening for, like I said, over 20 years, and I have found that even though I've always thought I would remember where I plant something, I do not. And I have been doing it long enough that when the first set of true leaves appear, which is that actually the second set of leaves, I can typically identify the plant, but not always. So I still label everything. Now, some convenient things to have, which you do not need, are a heat mat and grow lights. Heat mat helps with germination. You don't need it. I grew plants for over a decade without heat mats, and they germinated just fine. Cool season vegetables don't need a heat mat or even a heat source at all, because the room temperature will help them to germinate. When it does come to warm season vegetables that need that heat for better germination, you can put them on top of things like refrigerators and radiators, and they will germinate just fine. And then again, like I mentioned, the grow lights, these are convenient, don't need them. I grew mine in sunny windows with about 8 hours of sunlight, and just make sure they don't have any drafts, and your seedling's going to do just fine. There are specialty lights. This is an LED grow light. This one is a fluorescent grow light. You don't need them. They do help your plants grow a little bit better, but you don't need them. And then, of course, you're going to need some seeds. And I have a 10% off sale on my seeds on my website. You can check that out on the link below. And next week, I will also have an actual seed starting video where I'm going to show you how to start your seeds. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.